It's so good.
That's so cute.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at that. Oh, wow. That's so nice.
All right. We are here in Paramus, New Jersey, about to build
our front door falls pondless waterfall.
Perfect. He said that so well. So let's get to it. So we are now in the backyard of the customer's house. They had this beautiful, beautiful paver patio put in. I love the shape of it. It's a nice natural shape, nice elongated curves. They did have a pond here at one point. They filled that in. They had a nice pergola over the top of it. That started to fall down. They actually had some trumpet vine that really took over and kind of crushed it. So now we want to put our feature into this space here. So we're going to work about a foot off the patio so we don't ruin any of the base and none of that's going to sag. Electric is right there. We're going to put in an autofill, which is going to connect right into that irrigation line. We're building a small retaining wall behind it. We've got some soil to work with over here and over there, plus what we excavate out of where our aqua basin will sit. But then this will be the home of our front door falls pondless waterfall, like Brennan mentioned. We're gonna use our patio height here as a benchmark. We're gonna sink that basin in just a couple inches below that and then build it up with the gravel and our stonework. Plans in the future, they will continue putting in some of these bushes just to kind of block off that fence and close in the rear corner of the house. And the rear corner is situated about 75 feet off the deck. They've got their living space, lots of windows, cool viewing space, and it's gonna be a new hangout spot with a fire pit and some cool Adirondack chairs. So this really will be a nice feature to accent this corner of the property. They have taken such great care. What a lush green lawn, all the landscaping, all the plants. They've got animals, birds, you can see in the distance down there, tons of feeders. So they're really interested in having this feature to provide water for all of the little critters that stop by. So let's get to it, guys. First step when using an aqua basin 45 like this is to excavate your hole. So we know that we want to have this thing sit level, side to side, front to back, and also about 2.5, almost 3 inches below patio grade. So we dug our hole out and then using our level before we put it in, leveled it out, smoothed it out, and make sure that once we set this down into the hole, it's gonna sit nice and level the way we dug it. Next step here, we have to then backfill. So it's kind of the same process as using the aqua blocks and a vault, but this is one contained unit. So you don't really have to worry about it pushing too much side to side, but we're still gonna put a little fill on this side, little fill on this side, and then on those two sides, and keep working our way around as we compact it down. First though, we have to get our plumbing set because this requires us to drill a hole through using a bulkhead fitting and then making the connection to our AquaSurge pump. So over here, we're starting to lay out our parts. We've got our AquaSurge 3000 pump. We also are using our low suction fitting on here. And so if the water level were to drop to a level lower than the inlet of our pump, it's still gonna be sucking from right on the bottom. But on this one here, even though we're using this, we are installing an autofill, so it should never be low on water. That's the pre-screen that comes on the pump, so we're gonna be discarding that using the low suction. Then we've got a series of fittings that come in the box, which we're gonna use to connect right into our bulkhead. So we're gonna use our hole saw, drill a hole, get this thing hooked up. Couple hours in, and this thing is really taking some shape. So what we've done, we have got our pump and plumbing connected inside here to an MPT fitting that then runs our 1.5-inch pipe up to where the spillway is. Also got connected in our autofill. Now this is a nice addition. This is kind of like your water feature babysitter. So if you have an underground irrigation system that turns on a couple times a week or once a week or whatever schedule you have it on, we can connect this right into there, and it acts very much like a float in your toilet bowl. So as the float rises, it actually shuts the valve off, and we can adjust that to whatever level we want. So when the zone, which is right here, turns on, we've got a line that's teed off into it. And then if the feature ever needs water, when that zone turns on, this will continue to fill until that float reaches our level that we set. We also put in here a threaded union, so if you ever have to take this pump out, it just releases like that. You can take the pump out to service it, and then when you're done, line those two pieces back up, connect your collar, and then plug your pump in. So it's very easy, very serviceable. We've got these two pieces connected. I'm now going up to the back end. I'll show you how we connect into that spillway. So I'm up here at the top here. We've already got our spillway almost rocked in. Liner comes up straight behind it. We actually cut a hole through, and this is very similar to a bulkhead fitting. But what we did to protect the liner from any stretching, tearing, or ripping, we put a piece of our repair or cover tape on the inside there, and then we cut our hole, which that fitting goes right through. Then the collar here on that is tightened. It is also a lefty or left hand to tighten it. So now that is a 2-inch threaded fitting. So I have this reducer, which is 2-inch down to 1.5 inches. I'm gonna put a bead of silicone around the threads. This way that makes a nice seal there. And then I'm gonna connect a 90, and then this way there's no extra tension on this fitting. It's a nice right hand turn, 90 degrees from our sweep that comes up that's now connected to the pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that connected. Again, silicone this so it's got a nice watertight seal. And then we're gonna use our hot glue and glue our fittings together here, and then connect that pipe, bury it all, and then we can finish our rock work here on the upper end of this water feature. So neat working on one of these smaller size waterfalls, because you can pack in so much into this little space. We only go back about 5 feet and up a change in elevation of about 2 feet from the top of the basin here. So there is a lot going on with our AquaSurge 3000 pump. There is going to be a nice flow of water welling up behind that first weir stone, and then just meandering its way all the way down, and then finally over this spillway, some crashing onto this rock before it goes and disappears into that bed of gravel at the bottom. So again, we're just filling this up. This system here holds about 100 gallons of water. We've got it hooked up to our autofill. We've got our plumbing run. We've got our pump cord disguised and run over to the outlet. We put in some of our plants. We've got one more plant to go. Probably gonna tuck that guy right there so we disguise that outlet a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig that in and then let this fill, and it is time to go and get the customer. So that's it. In 6 hours with 3 guys, we got to the job site. We excavated for our basin, moved about 3 yards of soil that was here on the property, and then moved in about 3 tons of boulders, about 400 pounds of gravel, and voila.
good.
That's so cute.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
my
look at
God.
that. Oh, wow, that's so nice.
That is so cute.
That is so nice. It's perfect. It just is. And it will service the wildlife just the way we want it to. This is so great.
So what a cool little feature here. I say little because this is one of our smaller features that we install. This is like an introductory level pondless waterfall. It's called our front door falls. It can be put by your front door, but it also works perfectly like this one in the backyard. So here, our basin is underground here. That's what we dug in at the very beginning of the video. That holds our water and the pump. That's what recirculates everything. But then on top of that, we've built up our elevation 2 feet. So the waterfall is 2 feet above the basin there. And then through a series of very nice but smaller cascades, the water just kind of twists and turns, pools up here, which is going to be so perfect because the customer and her daughter love interacting with the wildlife here, the birds, the animals, the insects. We've got some plants here to attract maybe some butterflies and bees. But this really turned out incredible. Let us know what you guys think in those comments below. We love hearing your feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. Let us know, can you see something like this in your backyard? It's totally a project that can be done over the weekend as a do-it-yourself project. All you'll need is the kit, rocks, and the willingness to sweat and work a little hard to move these rocks. But this definitely makes a big impact. We'll see you guys on the next one.